Denizens of Nosgoth, Legacy of Kain's getting new content. Welcome to the New Age. Yes, you heard that correctly. Do not adjust your set. Legacy of Kain is getting new content. It is 2024, over 20 years since the last full game was released, and we have just received confirmation that Legacy of Kain is getting new content. Just breathe, take it in, and relax. Calm. Okay, so, shock announcement this afternoon. Came out of nowhere. There will be new Legacy of Kain stuff coming out in the not too distant future. It's not the game you might be expecting or will be hoping for, but it is a brand new graphic novel called Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, The Dead Shall Rise. It's produced by Crystal Dynamics and Bitbot Media. It's going to be crowdfunded, so it will be on Kickstarter, so look out for that campaign in the not too distant future. The information released so far says it's a Soul Reaver prequel, with lots of information that's based on unreleased elements of the Soul Reaver mythos and lore. It also says that we're going to be shown how Raziel became a vampire lieutenant serving under Kain, but also have flashbacks to his life as a human Seraphan warrior. So there's a wide breadth of history there. And they've also said it's going to answer some long-running questions about the Soul Reaver mythos. We can only guess at the moment as to what those would be. We can hope it will tell us who exactly Coffee Guy was. Anyway, it's also going to introduce a major new character who has ties to Raziel and Kain. Now, we don't know much about that character beyond that they will be related to Raziel and Kain, so it will be interesting to see how that develops. Are they the protagonist? Will they be involved in other projects moving forward? All a bit up in the air at the moment. The credits for this do look quite impressive. They've got quite a few interesting names. Now I'll have to bear with me while I try and get these right. It's written by Joshua Viola and Angie Hodap. Art by Justin Samuel, with letters by Jeremiah Lambert, covers by Dave Raposa and Aaron Lovett, and additional art by Johnny Bush and Ninja Joe, with additional guidance by Brent Friedman. Now, lots of very interesting credits there. Of course, the most interesting one perhaps is Joshua Viola, because he has already been on record. He's very, very enthusiastic about the franchise. Looks like he was drawing it in college and has grown up with it. And of course, the big thing to take away from it is he has a Raziel tattoo, which is always a positive sign. So we are coming from a place of passion with these. So it looks like, despite a little bit of a rocky few months, rocky years or so, that Embracer has finally come through, and we are going to get some stuff coming from the right place. The campaign for the Kickstarter launches later this year, and you can sign up on Backerkit to be notified of all the changes here. So I'll put the link for that in the description. Check out for that. And it looks like from what's been released so far that it will be coming out. The campaign will be coming out later this year. So do look out for that in the future. All being said, it is, after months of waiting and years of waiting, it is a very exciting time to be a Legacy of Kain fan, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Just control your enthusiasm. Difficult as that is, I'm having trouble myself, but control your enthusiasm. You know the place to go. let's go to Kickstarter and back this to the hilt, and let's show that the legacy of Kain is not dead and buried. It is undead. It will rise again. Also, other things to cover for the last few months that we've been away. First off, of course, we have to mention Embracer. Now, the Embracer saga has continued on in the background. Lots of worrying financial signs. However, the most recent news was that it looks like their restructuring program has just about come to an end, and it looks like for at least a little while going forward, Crystal Dynamics is going to be fairly insulated from the changes. One of their most recent investor calls said that the restructuring and the layoffs were almost at an end. So it looks like we have braved the storm, as it were. And now, as part of the restructuring there, Embracer itself will be breaking down into 3 separate branches. Now, one of those is going to be Coffee Stains and Friends, which will deal with their AA titles. Among those, it looks like THQ Nordic was in there. And the other one will be Asmodee and Friends, dealing with board games and such. Yes, these are interesting names for Friends. The third branch is Middle Earth and Friends. Now, that is for your AAA games, your big high tentpole leaders, and it looks like among there, obviously, Lord of the Rings is in there. You will also have Tomb Raider that is in there. Now, it looks like we've gone along with Tomb Raider once again, so Crystal Dynamics seems to be in with Middle Earth and Friends. So Legacy of Kain is considered a AAA gaming franchise, which is no doubt a good sign for the ambition that's associated with it, if nothing else going forward. The only worrying thing, of course, is that the abbreviation is MEEF, which, let's hope it's a placeholder. Because, moving on from that, I'm sure they will have a better name in future. Other things that have happened in the last few months include the final Easter eggs from Tomb Raider Remastered, or one of the final Easter eggs from Tomb Raider Remastered, being found in the Tomb Raider 3 expansion, The Lost Artifact. Again, this was finally discovered by the fandom, is that if you go into one of the levels on the Lost Artifact, you can find a desk with a corkboard with lots of different pointers to the 5 artifacts that were in that game. Hidden amongst those images was a concept art of Raziel and Kain, easily missed by the Tomb Raider fans. In fact, if you go by some of their streams, you will have noticed that some of them looked straight at it and didn't know what it was, which is very annoying if you're a Legacy of Kain fan. But yeah, that goes along with a bunch of other Legacy of Kain Easter eggs that were in that game, including the Kain portraits in the Croft Manor and various Defiance concept arts in the Croft Manor as well. Okay, so there was no Legacy of Kain games in the recent showcases, but there were a few interesting things to note in those showcases that will have caught the attention. First off was Perfect Dark, which was in the Xbox showcase. Now, that is what Crystal Dynamics are currently working on. So if you remember Perfect Dark from the days of the N64, Perfect Dark was the successor, so GoldenEye 64. It was a brilliant game. I thoroughly loved it as a kid, as a teenager growing up. It was a fantastic game, and they are now working on sort of a reboot to that. And Crystal Dynamics was brought on some time ago to sort of co-develop that. Looks like they are now in the sort of home stretch of that, so Perfect Dark is shaping up. It does look pretty interesting. Obviously, with Perfect Dark and the new Tomb Raider on Crystal Dynamics' radar, those were the big projects that were taking the most of their attention. with those sort of getting towards the end, you would hope there's some space for other games. We don't know, but it would be interesting to see what sort of things Crystal Dynamics are cooking up in the background going forward. The next thing to talk about is some related properties here, because also in that Xbox showcase was Life is Strange Double Exposure, which is the new Life is Strange game. Now, Life is Strange is a series that was Square Enix. It was part of Square Enix's Western division. It was essentially the successor to the Eidos franchises, the Eidos ones that had way back in the past brought us Legacy of Kain. So Life is Strange being in the Xbox showcase, it showed that was still under Square Enix. It's not come across to the Embracer Group. It's not come across to me for any of the sub-Embracer brands. It is still with Square Enix. So in the original deal to buy Embracer, they had hinted that while the big ones that were coming were Legacy of Kain, Thief, Tomb Raider and Deus Ex, they had hinted that other Western franchises from Square Enix would be coming over soon after that in a deal later to be finalised. Now it appears that deal was not finalised before Embracer hit financial problems, so we can now definitively say Life is Strange is with Square Enix. But there's also another name there that is very, very interestingly placed, and that is Gex. Because Gex came up in the limited run showcase. I had mentioned before that they were getting their own revamp. I may have called it a remaster last time. It's not. It's a straight up port for the modern games for the to run on modern platforms. Now it comes up with the Square Enix and limited run logos, and that combination is very, very interesting because as many of you will know, Gex is the Crystal Dynamics mascot. He has for a long time been the face of Crystal Dynamics, but there was no Crystal Dynamics logo there. Instead, we have the Square Enix logo there, which again suggests that it is Square Enix that still holds the keys, that Gex did not come across with Legacy of Kain and Tomb Raider in that sale. Gex still belongs to Square Enix. But just to throw a little spanner in the works there, Limited Run is an Embracer company. So it looks like we have a situation where Crystal Dynamics' mascot is Gex, and they had so much to do with Gex in the past. But with how things have played out, Square Enix owns Gex and is keeping hold of Gex for the moment. Or for the time at least. And yet they've enlisted an Embracer company, Limited Run, to make a port of those games. So there's still some cooperation between Square Enix and Embracer, but it's not the full purchase moving across. So Gex is going to stay where it is for now. Which, I mean, if you love the Crystal Engine stuff, it's a bit of a shame. I'd love to see more happen with Gex. But yeah, we'll see what will happen with that in the future. It will be great to see. One more thing I have to mention is to apologise to some of our younger Legacy of Kain fans out there. Last time I implied that Legacy of Kain fans will be reaching their 40s about now, based on the supposition that Legacy of Kain fans will have been sort of teenagers when the original games were announced and released. And if you're around that time, you will be sort of fast approaching the end of your 30s. Apparently, there are quite a lot of younger Legacy of Kain fans out there. So to those younger fans, I salute you and apologise for letting you down there. There is plenty of room in the fandom, and it's just some of us are old. And you'll get there one day too. Until then, it is, like I say, it is a very, very exciting time to be a Legacy of Kain fan. I seem to be saying that quite a lot but it's just now beginning to bear fruit. So the months ahead are going to be very, very interesting. I can't wait, and I hope to see you all on the journey. Until next time, Vae Victis. Yes, it was England-Slovakia today, and they hit us with that news right in the middle of the match. Yes, I'm English. Yes, my partner is Slovak. Yes, I'm sleeping on the couch tonight.